What's more important to the new agents out there, the sweat equity or the dollar spent? Today we're talking about starting up in your real estate business. So are you a new realtor? Are you 6 months in the business? Are you a year in the business? Maybe you've been in the business for a while and you're like saying it's time to restart your business, and all of that's great, because what I want to focus on today is sweat equity instead of the dollars spent. Sweat equity is what all great companies have built their businesses off of, that started out of the garage, started with one listing for our real estate business, that very first buyer, somebody you knew. Very rarely has it been major success to spend tons and tons of money on some new platform that you're not familiar with, you're not sure how to operate. All of that money goes down the drain, and then you say, I wasn't ready for that yet, and I need to save that for later on in my career. So what I want you to focus on is sweat equity. Today what we want to talk about is a couple takeaways specifically and some scripts. So make sure you got your notes, press pause, get your pen and paper. Let's get ready to take some notes, because I think we have some tangible things that you're going to be able to walk away with today. So when we think about sweat equity, the first thing I want you to think about is, what are you really, really, really good at? Why did you get in the business? And it usually comes down to, so you can affect people, you can change their lives, and yes, so you can make money, but usually money isn't the only factor. It's all about how do you affect people. Then we start to think, who are these people we're going to affect? And that's usually the hardest struggle for real estate agents getting started in this business, trying to find all these people out there. So I want you to focus on really two things today. There's two fingers. Two things today. I want you to focus on the first one. It's all the people you don't know in a community, specifically a neighborhood, and they happen to own homes, and they have doors at the front of their houses that you can just knock on. And I want you to think about how valuable that is. Now, a lot of people think that, wait a minute now. You want me to actually get outside and sweat in the 90-degree weather and not look professional because I've got the stains and I'm tired and I've got my water and I've got everything, and you want me to knock on doors? The answer is absolutely yes, because these people own homes, and we know that some of them are going to sell every single year. The way to start this properly is to, if you're brand spanking new, go to your company, go to your team and say, who here has buyers that they can't find a home for? And you may already be one of those agents that you have buyers that you can't find a home for, but survey and decide, where is there a neighborhood or an area of town or something very, very specific that you can knock on their door, where you know that there's buyers that want to be there, but there's no signs in the yards. Or maybe there's only one or two and they're already under contract. Or maybe they're not the best fit for the majority of people out there. We know that there's usually hundreds of other homes in a neighborhood. So how do you turn that into money? So what I want you to think about is, start at one side of the neighborhood, turn right, just like a mailman, go around the whole neighborhood, knocking on their door, and here's what I want you to say. So, hey neighbor, I'm with this real estate company. What I'm looking to do today is actually just find out if anybody's thinking about selling their home, because I work with, and my company works with, a handful of buyers specifically looking to be in this neighborhood, and there's just no signs for sale. There's no signs in the yard showing a home for sale. There's just no homes up here for sale right now, and unfortunately, that makes it a challenge for my buyers. So I've been hired by my clients to help them find a home. If the price were right, would you be willing to sell your home? That's the magic question, guys. If the price were right, would you be willing to sell your home? Now, I want to put a little case study of this together. One of the agents in our brokerage earlier this spring averaged, every time they knocked, this was actual stats, tallied, measured, figured out exactly so we can measure it, for every 40 houses he knocked on, he got 2 listing appointments and he listed 1 house. 40 houses, 2 listing appointments, 1 listing. Isn't that pretty amazing if you really think about it? How long would it take you to knock on 40 doors? 2 hours maybe, because you're going to have some conversations. How valuable is that? That's what we call sweat equity. So I want you to think about how you can change things up. Here's another good one too. Maybe you're doing an open house. New agent, sweat equity. I'm going to go to the agent that has experience, the one that I admire and I want to learn from, and that maybe could be my mentor one day. I want to go to that person and I want to find out, hey, do you have a house that I could hold open? 9 times out of 10, that agent's even going to pay for the ad and the advertising and everything. They're going to let you hold it open. What's going to make you really special is if you go around the entire neighborhood knocking on the door saying, hey, we're going to have an open house today. And or today, maybe you should do it a day or two in advance, but you're going to say, hey, we're going to have an open house this coming Sunday from 2 to 5. I'd love for you to stop by. But more importantly, the reason I'm coming here is because buyers are going to fall in love with this neighborhood and they're going to show up because of the neighborhood, and they may or may not like that house, and I'd love to have another option for them. If the price were right, would you be willing to sell your home? Again, that magical question. If the price were right, would you be willing to sell your home? Be amazed how many opportunities you get out of that. So just think about what that sweat equity can do for you. Now, that's number one. Lot in number one, but I want to give you one more. This is number two. Number two is all about how do you leverage, again, we're talking sweat equity here, how do you leverage your friends, your sphere, your family, all the people you know and you do business with, your favorites at your restaurants, your people you drop your dry cleanings off, whoever that may be. How do you leverage those people? As a new agent, what we tend to see is people don't want to practice on their people they know, so they're intimidated, they're uncomfortable. The reason they're intimidated or uncomfortable is because they don't know what to say, because they don't want to be that salesperson. I want to prepare you today with some value you can offer. So when I pick up the phone and I call some of the people that I know and I say, especially as a new agent, this is awesome. Hey, just be vulnerable with them. Hey, my name's Doug. I'm with this real estate company, and I just want you to know, if you didn't notice through Facebook and Twitter and all these places, that I got in the real estate business a little while ago. And I've been through the training. We passed the test with flying colors. I interviewed for companies, found the right company that was a match for me, went through rigorous training to get set up and know what I was doing to understand how to evaluate the market, be offering value here. And the reason I'm hitting you up today is not necessarily to be that guy, who do you know, but to let you know that I have some pretty amazing tools that can let you know what's going on in your neighborhood right now. Bob, I know you own a house. Would it be of value to you if I just sent you an email every time a new listing came on the market, or maybe a home sold, or maybe it fell off the market? If I gave you that data, you'd want to know about that, right, Bob? Bob's going to say yes to that. So all you got to do is set up that smart search, have the email automatically go out to them, leverage a little bit of technology that I'm sure your brokerage probably has, or your local MLS, or whoever it may be, but set that up for them. And guess what? Every time something comes in the market, you're going to be the face in front of them, letting them know that you're the local professional. Easy, right? Now here's the follow-up question. Now, Bob, I'm also surveying people, just everybody I'm talking to, because I'm curious to make sure I'm in line with what the hot trends are. And I'm curious, if you were going to make a move, what part of town do you think you'd be willing to move into? What part of town do you hope you'd move into? That same question. Figure out, where do they want to go? And Bob may say, oh, I want to be in this part of town. Or he may say, I just want to stay right here because I love it here. No matter what the answer is, say, well, Bob, if that's the part of town that you think you might move into one day, and what I've learned is most people, typically when they decide they're thinking about making a home, building a home, selling a home, buying a home, when they're ready to make the move, what they're doing is they think about it about 18 months in advance. So how about I just send you maybe some new listings that pop up in that part of town, maybe just like once a month, just letting you know what's going on, so when that time does come, you're totally aware of the market and what's going on in the prices, so you're not surprised when the time sneaks up on you. And Bob's probably going to say, yeah, sure, that's fine, Doug, no problem. So you're going to set them up with that. Here's the last piece that goes into the ask, because you've been give, value, right? Here's the last piece. So Bob, I do have to ask one more thing. I'm working with a lot of buyers out there right now, and I can't seem to find them all the perfect home because the market is just so hot right now. So if I had a buyer that was willing to give you what you wanted for this home, aka if the price were right, would you be willing to sell your home? Would you be up for that? Would you want to know about that? How about we make something like that happen? And again, the same stats fall into place. For every 40 people you ask, you should list one home. Take that to the bank, guys. If the price were right, would you be willing to sell your home? That's the big ask. So I hope this was helpful for you, because guess what? This is all sweat equity versus the money spent. And there's a time and a place for the money, but right now what we're talking about is how do you spend that sweat equity, and I want you to take advantage of it. Make sure your mindset's right. Understand that you got to get a little bit outside of your comfort zone, because That's what makes the magic happen. Get out there and knock on some doors, ask the right questions. I hope this was helpful. If you've done something like this before, let me know. Let me know what your stats are. Let me know what your record is right now so we can talk about where we need to improve the process. And more importantly, if you have an objection that you've run into, maybe I can help you get through that if you don't know the best way to do it. Hit me up, shoot me a message, give me some hearts, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you watching this. Can't wait to see you on the next video, guys.
Perfect.